Hi everyone, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hopefully everybody's happy to get into 2021 and put the last year behind us. That would be really nice. Anyway, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I posted, so a quick little intro. My name is Erin, or Wow Mama Erin, RNY. I had gastric bypass surgery in June of 2016. My highest weight was 288 pounds. Pre-Optifast, I was 273. Morning of surgery, I was 253. The lowest weight I ever got down to, which was about 1 year after my surgery, I was 155. Maintained that for a little while, but that wasn't really feasible for me. So then I was at around 180 to 190 for a while, up until last year, up until about a year ago. And I was quite happy there, maintaining there quite nicely. Unfortunately, the last year happened and a couple things play into that. But I'm currently sitting at like 224, 225 as of this morning. So I'm not thrilled to report that, but that's the reality. I got this surgery because I like bad food and I eat too much of it. It was a great tool. It still is, I hope. And I'm working to make some changes. Not New Year's resolutions though. So anyway, so what has happened over the past year? I've been really bad at taking my vitamins. Like probably for the past year, I've been absolutely horrible at it. So I had a doctor's appointment in November. So around the end of November, I had my blood work done and my ferritin was at like 5. And your iron levels also impact your hemoglobin and your hematocrit, and those were low as well. So since the end of November, I have been good at taking all my vitamins. I'm using my pill sorter again, so it's got like a strip with 4 slots, and you can pull out 1 strip for each day or keep it all together as a big thing. So it's good because I load it up once a week, and then I can pull out 1 day at a time, and I keep it in my pocket when I'm at work, because then it reminds me as I'm walking around, it jingles and jangles, and it reminds me that, hey, I've got pills to take. So that's good. So I'll probably have another blood test in a little while and see how we're going with that. So I am taking the polysaccharide iron and opening them into tea at night, because I can't take them just as a shot or whatever. I've tried that before. It was horrible. But they seem to do okay in tea. Like I drink a chai at night. So you usually have 2 cups of tea. And I switch off back and forth. Like some days I take 1, and then the next day I'll take 2, and the day after I'll take 1, and vice versa. And see how that does me. Because you have to watch with iron too, because it can make you constipated. So then you battle that with something like Restorelax or Clearelax or PEG 3350. It's all the same stuff. So, okay. So that's where I am with my vitamins. Food, that's why I'm back here again. My portions have increased. And my food selection has gone downhill. I'm eating way too many carbs. I still have my protein shake every morning for breakfast, so at least I start off good, but I do not finish strong at all. I've gotten bad with what I take to work, although today I was good. I made some chicken salad and threw some cheese in with it. Salt, pepper, mayo, and just a kind of a chunky chicken salad, and just ate it as it was. I didn't put it on a sandwich or anything like that. So that was my lunch. So that was actually a good lunch for today. So I'm trying to make some better choices, but I'm trying to do it slowly. like for the past, since my doctor's appointment, I've kind of just been concentrating on the vitamins because I know it's important to take them every day. So I'm trying to implement changes over time and not do all of this stuff all at once in hopes that it won't be too overwhelming. So that's where I'm going with that. What else? Okay, exercise. I always talk about activity. Bad. So part of the reason for my hip appointment was back in August, and it had been getting bad for a while, but August it kind of reached its peak where my right hip was really bothering me, and I would start limping at work. And I could walk it off usually, but it got to the point where I was severely limping and it was in pain. So I went and saw a physio guy, and getting appointments from my doctor was crazy. So I went and saw a physio guy, and then I saw his wife. She's physio as well. And they're like, we think you need an MRI of your hip. So my family doctor is good to work with. So he put in a request to her that she put in an MRI request, which she did. And then I went for that, and she called me over the phone, my doctor, to give me the results of that. So surrounding your hip joint is something called the labrum. It's kind of like a cartilage-like material, I guess. And once it's screwed, it's done. Because cartilage is non-vascular, so it really can't repair itself. So you can have a surgical repair done, but in my case, that's probably not an option. Because 3/4 of it, by the sounds of it, is either classified as a complex tear or macerated in appearance. But I guess they can just remove it and remove the bad stuff, and you're fine without it, I guess. From what I've read. I don't know. I'll get more information later. And there's bone spurs. There's a thinning of the cartilage on the weight-bearing surface of the femoral head. And there's degenerative changes and evidence of osteoarthritis, which that might be the bone spurs, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so my hip is screwed, and it's been bothering me for a while. So since late August, early September, I've been on modified duties at work. So it's wonderful that work is accommodating me. And I'm still working my regular hours, but modified duties. So instead of doing patient care, I gave out a lot of flu shots this year, and I'm doing COVID swabs. So as I say, I go around and I make people cry. Not really, just the kids. Anyway, so I probably did close to 300 flu shots this year, and I've done a whole bunch of COVID swabs. So I help out with the occupational health department. So if we get the COVID vaccines before I have my hip repaired, then I should, I'll probably partake in that when that rolls out. But in our area, I'm not near Ottawa or Toronto or any of the hot spots like that. So it'll be a while before that gets to us. Our area is pretty good. And speaking of that, of my timeline, I have an ortho appointment in February, and hopefully they will recommend a hip resurfacing. So it's not a replacement. They don't hack part of the bone off and, give you a new head. They kind of grind things down and maybe put a new, a liner basically in the socket. And that compensates, I guess, for the lack of the cartilage. Anyway, I know what I'm talking about. Well, I'll find that out in my February appointment with the ortho guy. So I'm looking forward to that because I want to get back and active and moving again. And I can't do that on this hip. I'm so limited in what I can do. So that sucks. So it's kind of like all this other stuff. And then just stress and poor eating choices and whatever. And of course, Christmas chocolate. We still have some here. I thought some stuff was gone, but it turned out my husband had bought a third box of this particular, of the Lindor chocolate from Costco. So it's a box that's like this big. And my daughter just put that in front of me tonight. Go, oh, look, this one's unopened. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Anyway, so that's kind of what's been going on as far as the weight loss stuff. I also started back to school, and it's normally an online program, so at least nothing's really messed up with that. So I'm a registered practical nurse, and there are some programs you can take online to upgrade or to bridge from RPN to RN. So my goal is to get my Bachelor of Science in Nursing through one of the universities in Ontario. So I'm doing that. So that's another layer of stress and whatever. And then along with your work schedule and stuff like that. And last year I was also a clinical instructor for the college, but I've dropped that off my plate. That's just too much. You know, it was school part-time and work part-time. I couldn't do 3. It would have been crazy. And I can't do the clinical instructing with my hip because you have to be able to follow your students around and participate with them, you know, at the patient's bedside. While I may not have to help transfer or help dress people, you know, there's a lot of walking and stuff involved that I just wouldn't be able to do. So that's kind of a bummer too, because it's affecting so many aspects of my life right now. So that's another reason why I'm a little worried about how long this hip is going to take to fix. Because that could impact me in the summer when I'm supposed to do a clinical placement through the school. And, you know, I would need to do bedside nursing basically, but as a student. So we'll see how that goes. Some things did get changed because of COVID, where they started doing virtual clinicals and like these simulator, like online simulation lab type stuff. If I'm lucky, my first clinical placement will be that instead of an in-person one, because that I could do from bed at home, you know, if I'm laid up because had surgery or something on my hip. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. So it's been a year. Getting really tired of wearing masks and all that fun stuff. And I'm getting tired of having to have a swab stuck up my nose anytime I have a cold. So my New Year's kind of sucked because I got swabbed on December 30th because I got a cold. I had the itchy, watery eyes, and I had a sore throat and a cough. And I still have a bit of a sore throat now. But anyway, so my results didn't come back until January 1st. So from December 29th, when my symptoms started, I came home from work. Now, luckily, when my symptoms started, I was alone in the Occ Health office. And, you know, I'm like, oh my God, my eyes are watering. Oh my God, my throat is sore. Oh my God, I have to, you know. And part of your thought process is, well, it's just a cold, but what if it isn't? And then I'm going to, you know, what if I'm putting other people at risk, right? So like, oh, so I had to email and say, okay, I have to put myself off work. And I scheduled a swab for the next day. And so that was the 30th was the swab. But after I came home from work on the 29th, luckily we have an ensuite bathroom so that I could kind of seclude myself to one area of the house. And anytime I left the room, I'd hand sanitizer and put on a mask. I'd go out, do whatever I needed to do. which was usually just grab food. That's, I think, the only time I left the room was to go get food. But then I spent the next, until the first, I spent basically all my time in the bedroom watching YouTube and Netflix and whatever. And my kids were really unhappy about it. My son just wanted to hug me. And he's like, I don't care if I get COVID. I'm like, I do. And this would be a problem. So anyway, so New Year's Eve, I was stuck in my bedroom. I came out for an hour to play a board game with the kids. Thankfully, we have a very large antique dining room table that was my great grandmother's. So it's 4 feet wide by 8 feet long. So I kind of sat off to one side, and my husband and the 2 kids kind of sat around the other side. And we played a board game, but the whole time I wore a mask. And then we watched the ball drop on YouTube while I was wearing a mask. And then I used hand sanitizer and I high-fived everybody and we went to bed. That was New Year's. So that really sucked, just not being able to sit on the couch with your family and watch a movie or play a game and have to worry about infecting everybody. So luckily when I checked the next morning, my result came back and it was negative. It's just, I hate that I had to do that because of a cold, because this is the times we live in. And I did it because I knew it was just a cold, but you're like, what if it isn't? Anyway, so that was my second time being swabbed because of a cold. So it came back negative, but I still got the sore throat. I'm still kind of snuffy and, snotty and whatever. But not too bad. So whatever. So I go to work, I wear goggles all day, I wear a mask all day. Unless I'm in an office by myself, because otherwise I'm within 6 feet of people. And when I do, and I'm doing COVID swabs, then I'm wearing different goggles that offer more protection than the ones I normally wear. But that's only when doing COVID swabs. And I'm wearing a mask, and I'm wearing a gown, and I'm wearing gloves. So full PPE when I'm doing that. So and it works because I have swabbed people who turned out to be positive and I haven't gotten it. So that stuff works. Yeah. So that's been my year. So I'm looking forward to health and healing in the next year, progressing through, this nursing course, which it takes 5 years to complete part-time because it's designed for nurses who work, and a lot of them work full-time while doing this, and I don't know how they could. And then there's some who also have young kids, like newborns at home while they're doing this too, and it's like, oh my God, I don't know how you do this. So anyway, so it's gonna be a busy year, but hopefully my hip gets better this year and I have surgery done to repair it. And yeah, hopefully your year is good. I know 2020 was rough on a lot of people. Like, even if you didn't have anything, spectacularly horrible happen, it was still a stressful year. Our lives were changed massively. Like, just so much has changed. And I think people have been getting really tired of those changes for a while now, the isolation and whatever, because even though we're currently on lockdown, like even before then, I barely left the house. Like we just stopped going out for frivolous things. Like, oh, you don't need it? It can wait until the actual grocery shop when we have to do it. Yeah, it's just not important to go out as often. Anyway, this has turned into a horribly long video, and I kind of veered off topic. but it gives you a little update into my life if you're interested or not. Whatever. So hopefully everybody's doing well, taking care of themselves. It's a long journey, and I'm going to say this is just a continuous journey with weight loss, with ups and downs and whatnot. A lot of people have regained, and this is part of my journey right now, and we're going to see what we can do about that. I can't do anything about the activity for now, but my next thing is, now that I've got the vitamins on track, to start working on better food choices. So that's my plan. We'll see how that works out. Anyway, you guys take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.